The evening mist has begun to settle over London as you step out into the cobblestone streets, your leather boots making soft sounds against the wet stones. The year is 1885, and you are beginning your apprenticeship with old Thomas, the most respected lamplighter in this corner of the great city. Your brass lighter feels warm and familiar in your hand, polished smooth from years of use by those who came before you. The first drops of rain begin to fall as you make your way down Pemberton Street, each droplet catching the fading daylight before disappearing into the growing dusk. The sound of rain on the cobblestones creates a gentle percussion that seems to match the rhythm of your unhurried steps. Above you, the gas lamps wait patiently for your touch, their brass fittings gleaming despite the gray sky overhead. You approach the first lamp of your evening round, an elegant Victorian post that stands like a sentinel at the corner where Pemberton Street meets the wider thoroughfare of Gloucester Road. The rain has begun to fall more steadily now, creating soft rivulets that run down the lamp's ornate metalwork. You reach up with your brass lighter, and with a gentle twist and the smallest flame, the gas catches with a satisfying whisper of sound. The warm yellow light blooms in the gathering darkness, casting a golden circle on the wet pavement below. The rain catches this light and transforms it, creating thousands of tiny sparkles on the cobblestones that dance and shimmer with each passing moment. The gentle hiss of the gas flame mingles with the soft patter of raindrops, creating a peaceful symphony that seems to welcome the approaching night. As you move to the next lamp, your footsteps create a gentle splash in the shallow puddles that have begun to form between the cobblestones. The sound is rhythmic and soothing, like a distant stream flowing over smooth rocks. The rain has settled into a steady, gentle fall, not the harsh downpour that sometimes drives people indoors, but the kind of soft English rain that seems to embrace rather than assault. The second lamp stands outside Mrs. Pemberton's bakery, and as you light it, the warm glow illuminates the shop window where freshly baked loaves still sit cooling on wooden racks. The aroma of bread mingles with the clean scent of rain, creating a combination that speaks of comfort and home. Through the window, you can see the soft orange glow of the bakery's ovens, and occasionally the gentle sound of Mrs. Pemberton moving about her shop reaches you through the rain. You continue your peaceful progress down the street, lighting each lamp in turn. The rain has found its rhythm now, a constant gentle pattering that forms a backdrop to all the other sounds of the evening. Your brass lighter works smoothly, each lamp catching with the same satisfying whisper, each new circle of golden light pushing back the darkness just a little further. At the third lamp, outside the milliner's shop, you pause for a moment to watch the rain create patterns on the shop window. The glass is old and slightly uneven, causing the raindrops to form intricate trails as they slide downward. Behind the glass, you can see the shapes of elegant hats displayed on wooden stands, their feathers and ribbons creating mysterious silhouettes in the lamplight. The rain seems to muffle all the harsh sounds of the city, transforming London into a gentler, more peaceful place. The distant rumble of carriages becomes a soft, rhythmic rolling, like thunder heard from far away. The voices of the few people still about are softened and made musical by the rain, their conversations floating on the damp air like half-remembered melodies. As you make your way further along your route, you turn into Clarissa Lane, a narrower street lined with tall Victorian houses whose windows are beginning to glow with warm, inviting light. The rain falls more softly here, sheltered as the street is by the overhanging eaves of the houses. The sound changes from the open patter of rain on cobblestones to a more intimate drumming on roof tiles and windowsills. Each house you pass tells its own story through its lighted windows. In one, you glimpse the soft glow of a reading lamp, where someone sits peacefully with a book. In another, the warm light of a dining room, where a family gathers around their evening meal. The rain on the windows creates a natural curtain, softening these glimpses of domestic life and making them seem like scenes from a pleasant dream. The fourth lamp on your route stands at the entrance to a small park, its light destined to guide late evening strollers along the tree-lined paths. As you light it, the flame illuminates the rain falling through the branches of an old oak tree, each drop catching the light for a brief moment before disappearing into the darkness. The sound of rain on leaves is different from rain on stone, softer and more musical, like nature's own gentle applause. You pause here for a moment, sheltering under the oak's broad canopy. The rain continues its peaceful fall, and you can hear it landing on different surfaces all around you. The soft splash on the park's gravel paths, the gentle drumming on the wooden park benches, the almost musical tinkle as it strikes the iron railings that separate the park from the street. From this vantage point, you can see the lamps you have already lit stretching back along your route like a string of golden pearls. Each one creates its own circle of warm light, and together they transform the rainy street into something magical. The wet cobblestones reflect each flame, creating the illusion that the lights extend downward as well as up, as if the street itself is filled with captured stars. Moving on from the park, you enter the commercial district where shops line both sides of the street. Here, the gas lamps are more frequent, and your work takes on a steady rhythm. Light, move, splash through a puddle, light again. The gentle hiss of gas catching flame. The soft patter of rain on your coat. Your oil skin keeps you dry, but you can feel the coolness of the rain-washed air on your face, fresh and clean. The fifth lamp stands outside a tea shop where warm light spills from large windows onto the wet pavement. Through the rain-streaked glass, you can see people sitting at small tables, their conversations creating a gentle murmur that blends with the sound of rain. Steam rises from their cups, and occasionally you catch the soft clink of china on china, the comfortable sounds of an English tea room on a rainy evening. Next to the tea shop is a bookbinder's establishment, its window displaying leather-bound volumes with gold lettering that catches the lamplight. The rain on the window creates an ever-changing pattern of distortion that makes the books seem to shimmer and move, as if the stories within are trying to escape into the rainy night. As you continue your route, the rain begins to fall a little more heavily, though still gently. The sound becomes richer, more layered, as it finds different surfaces to dance upon. You can hear it gurgling softly in the gutters, creating tiny rivers that flow toward the storm drains. The Victorian buildings channel the water in elaborate ways, through decorative downspouts and along carved stone ledges, turning the practical necessity of drainage into something almost artistic. The sixth lamp of your evening illuminates the front of a small church, its Gothic windows glowing softly from within. The rain has turned the church's stone facade a deeper gray, and water runs down the carved details in the stonework, following the lines of angels' wings and flowing around the curves of decorative flowers. From inside the church comes the faint sound of evening practice, voices raised in harmony, the music floating out into the rainy night like a blessing. Your route takes you past a row of modest houses where working families live. Here, the windows glow with the warm light of oil lamps and candles, creating a patchwork of golden rectangles in the gray evening. The rain on these windows creates constantly shifting patterns of light and shadow, and you can occasionally glimpse the peaceful domestic scenes within, as a woman sewing by lamplight, children gathered around a table, an elderly man reading his evening paper. At the seventh lamp, you encounter another lamplighter making his rounds from the opposite direction. He nods pleasantly as he passes, his own brass lighter gleaming in the rain. The sound of his footsteps mingles with yours and then fades as he continues on his way, leaving you once again alone with the peaceful sounds of the rainy evening. The rain has settled into a perfect rhythm now, neither too light nor too heavy, just the ideal London rain that seems to exist solely to create atmosphere and wash the city clean. Every surface gleams with moisture, from the brass fittings of the gas lamps to the painted signs hanging outside shops. The wet streets reflect everything. The lamplight, the glow from windows, even the occasional star that manages to peek through the clouds. As you turn into a quieter residential street, the character of your evening changes subtly. Here, the houses are set back from the road with small front gardens, and the rain falling on the leaves and flowers creates a softer, more intimate sound. The gas lamps are spaced further apart, creating pools of light separated by comfortable stretches of gentle darkness. The eighth lamp stands at the corner where this residential street meets a small square. The square is surrounded by elegant Georgian houses, their windows warm with light despite the rain. In the center of the square is a small garden with a fountain, and you can hear the rain adding its voice to the gentle splash of the fountain's water. The sound creates a peaceful counterpoint to your own movements as you go about your work. From the square, you can see across to the river, where the lights of boats create wavering reflections on the dark water. The rain has softened everything into an impressionistic painting, where hard edges become gentle suggestions, and the entire city seems wrapped in a gauze of moisture and mist. Your route takes you down a cobblestone mews, where the houses are smaller and cozier. Here, the rain echoes between the buildings, creating a more enclosed feeling. The sound bounces gently off the walls and mingles with the soft noises from within the houses, the murmur of conversation, the gentle clink of cutlery, the turning of pages, all the peaceful sounds of evening domestic life. The ninth lamp you light illuminates a small courtyard where several mews houses face each other across a shared space. The rain has created puddles in the uneven cobblestones, each one reflecting the new lamplight like a mirror. As you work, you can hear the rain drumming gently on the slanted roofs above, running along the gutters, and dripping from eaves with the most soothing, rhythmic sound. Moving on from the mews, you find yourself on a slightly busier street, where handsome cabs occasionally pass, their wheels creating a gentle rolling sound on the wet cobblestones. The horses' hooves make a muffled clapping sound, softened by the rain, and you can hear the gentle creaking of leather and the soft jingle of harness fittings. The drivers sit hunched under their weather capes, and the passengers inside the cabs are warm and dry, protected from the rain but still able to enjoy the peaceful atmosphere it creates. At the 10th lamp, you pause to watch a cat picking its way carefully across the wet street, lifting each paw delicately and shaking it before placing it down again. The cat moves with that particular feline grace that makes even the most mundane actions seem like a dance, and the rain seems to part around it as if acknowledging its dignity. The rain continues its gentle fall as you work your way through the final portion of your route. By now, the rhythm of your evening has become deeply ingrained. The soft splash of your footsteps, the gentle hiss of each gas lamp catching light, the constant soothing patter of rain on stone and slate and glass. Your movements have taken on the unhurried pace that the rain seems to encourage, each action deliberate and peaceful. You enter a small lane lined with antique shops and curiosity dealers. Their windows are filled with fascinating objects that seem to take on mysterious qualities in the lamplight and rain-distorted glass. Grandfather clocks tick peacefully behind rain-streaked windows, their brass pendulums catching the light as they swing back and forth in perfect rhythm. China figurines seem to move and dance in the shifting patterns created by raindrops on glass. The 11th lamp illuminates the window of a music shop where violins and flutes hang in neat rows. The rain on the window creates the illusion that the instruments are underwater, floating in some peaceful aquatic realm. You imagine that if you could hear them, they would be playing the same gentle melody as the rain itself. As you continue down the lane, you pass a flower shop where the proprietor has brought all her blooms inside for the night. Through the window, you can see roses and lilies and daffodils arranged in buckets and vases, their colors made rich and deep by the combination of lamplight and rain-filtered darkness. The shop seems to glow from within, like a magical greenhouse. The final stretch of your route takes you back toward the more residential areas where your evening began. The rain has thoroughly washed the streets now, leaving everything clean and fresh. The air smells of wet stone and clean earth, with hints of the flowers from the private gardens tucked behind the houses. At the 12th lamp, you can see the end of your route ahead. This last lamp stands at the entrance to a small public garden where working people often sit during their lunch hours. Now, in the rainy evening, the garden is empty except for the gentle sounds of rain on leaves and the soft splash of water overflowing from a small ornamental pond. As you light this final lamp, you realize that your evening's work has created something beautiful. Looking back along your route, you can see the string of golden lights stretching away into the rainy darkness, each one a beacon of warmth and safety in the night. The rain continues to fall gently, catching the light from each lamp and transforming the wet streets into something magical. Your work completed, you begin the peaceful walk back to your starting point. The rain has become such a part of the evening's rhythm that you hardly notice it anymore, except as a constant gentle presence that makes everything softer and more peaceful. Your footsteps splash softly through puddles that reflect the lamplight like scattered coins. As you walk, you pass all the lamps you have lit, each one burning steadily despite the rain. The gas flames are protected by their glass housings, and they create perfect circles of warm light that push back the darkness. Between these circles, the gentle rain continues its peaceful fall, washing the city clean and preparing it for the quiet hours of the night. The sounds of the evening have settled into a perfect harmony. The constant gentle patter of rain, the soft splash of your footsteps, the distant murmur of the city settling into sleep. Occasionally, you hear the soft hiss of a gas lamp as the flame adjusts itself, or the gentle drip of water from an eave. But these sounds only add to the overall sense of peace and tranquility. By the time you reach your starting point, the rain has washed away all the dust and grime of the day, leaving the streets clean and fresh. The lamplight reflects off every wet surface, creating a city of mirrors and reflections. Your evening's work is done, and you have played your part in making London a little brighter, a little safer, a little more welcoming for anyone who might venture out into the gentle rain. You make your way home through the lamp-lit streets, your brass lighter tucked safely in your pocket. The rain continues its peaceful fall, and you know that tomorrow evening you will once again take up your route, lighting the lamps and bringing warmth to the rainy London streets. But for now, you are content to walk slowly through the city you have helped to illuminate, listening to the gentle rain and feeling the deep satisfaction that comes from work well done. As you continue your homeward journey, the rain begins to take on different qualities in different parts of the city. In the narrow alleyways between tall buildings, it creates an almost musical echo, bouncing off brick walls and stone facades to create a gentle percussion that follows you as you walk. The sound reminds you of fingers drumming softly on a wooden table, rhythmic and hypnotic. You pause at the corner of Merchant Street to watch the rain creating patterns on the large windows of a draper's shop. The water runs down the glass in intricate rivulets, distorting the view of the bolts of fabric displayed within. Silks and velvets take on dreamlike qualities through the rain-washed glass, their colors shifting and flowing like liquid jewels in the lamplight. The rain has brought out the earthy scents of the city in the most pleasant way. You can smell the wet stone of the buildings, clean and mineral-rich, mixing with the aroma of coal smoke from countless chimneys and the green scent of rain-washed trees in the small parks and squares. Occasionally, the wind carries the smell of fresh bread from an all-night bakery, or the rich aroma of coffee from a coffee house where late workers gather to warm themselves. Moving through Brunswick Square, you notice how the rain has transformed the small central garden into something magical. The lamplight catches the water droplets on spider webs stretched between the iron railings, turning each web into a constellation of tiny diamonds. The rain continues to fall gently on the leaves of the plane trees, creating a soft rustling sound that mingles with the steady patter on the pavement. Your route home takes you past the old church of St. Bartholomew, where the rain runs down the ancient stone in dark streams. The church bell tower disappears into the low-hanging clouds above, and you can hear the gentle drip of water from the carved gargoyles that serve as water spouts. The sound is rhythmic and peaceful, like a water clock marking the passage of time in the quietest possible way. As you walk along Chandler's Row, you pass beneath a series of archways that connect the buildings on either side of the street. Here, the rain creates a different symphony altogether. You can hear it drumming on the stone arches above, running in streams along the gutters built into the architecture, and dripping from the decorative stonework in a complex pattern of sounds that seems almost orchestrated. The wet cobblestones beneath your feet have developed their own character throughout the evening. Some stones are worn smooth by centuries of foot traffic and carriage wheels, creating perfect mirrors that reflect the lamplight. Others retain their original rough texture, causing the rainwater to pool in tiny reservoirs that overflow and create miniature waterfalls as they spill from stone to stone. You find yourself on a street lined with small workshops where craftsmen ply their trades. Even at this evening hour, some of the workshops show signs of activity. Through rain-streaked windows, you can see the warm glow of forge fires in a blacksmith's shop, the gentle light of oil lamps in a cobbler's workshop, and the mysterious shadows cast by the tools and materials of honest labor. The rain on these workshop windows creates an intimate feeling, as if you are glimpsing private worlds of creativity and skill. At the entrance to Haymarket Lane, you encounter one of the newer gas lamp posts, more ornate than the older ones on your regular route. This lamp is decorated with cast iron flowers and leaves, and the rain has settled in the curves and hollows of the metalwork, creating tiny streams and pools that catch the light. As you pause to admire the craftsmanship, you notice how the rain has enhanced every detail, making the metal flowers seem almost real in the lamplight. The lane itself is quieter than the main thoroughfares, lined with modest terraced houses where families have settled in for the evening. The rain on the slate roofs creates a gentle drumming that varies in pitch and rhythm depending on the age and condition of each roof. Some create a crisp, clear sound, while others produce a softer, more muffled rhythm. Together, they form a percussion ensemble that seems to welcome the approaching night. Through the lighted windows of these houses, you catch glimpses of peaceful domestic scenes made more intimate by the rain. In one window, a woman sits reading by the light of an oil lamp, occasionally turning a page with a soft rustle that you imagine rather than hear. In another, a man works at a small desk, his pen scratching across paper in what must be a rhythm as steady as the rain itself. Children pressed against windows watch the rain fall, their breath creating small clouds of condensation on the glass that they draw patterns in with their fingers. As you turn into Queen's Gardens, a small residential square surrounded by elegant Georgian houses, the rain takes on yet another character. Here, it falls through the branches of mature elm trees, creating a sound like gentle applause as it strikes the leaves. The trees channel the water down their trunks in dark streams that disappear into the soft earth of the garden beds, where you can hear the almost inaudible sound of thirsty soil drinking in the moisture. The central garden of the square contains a small fountain that continues to operate despite the rain. The sound of the fountain's water mingles with the rain in the most harmonious way, as if nature and human artifice have found perfect agreement. The rain adds its voice to the fountain's song, creating layers of water music that seem to emanate from the very heart of the city. Walking along the eastern side of the square, you pass a house where someone is playing piano. The music drifts out through slightly open windows, mixing with the sound of rain in a way that makes both more beautiful. The melody is something gentle and melancholy, perhaps Chopin or one of the newer composers, and it seems to match the rhythm of the rain perfectly. You pause for a moment to listen, allowing the combination of music and rain to wash over you like a blessing. Your journey continues down a narrow street called Copper Lane, where the buildings lean slightly toward each other, their upper stories almost touching across the narrow gap. Here, the rain falls in a more confined space, creating an intimate acoustic environment where every drop seems amplified and clarified. You can hear individual raindrops striking different surfaces, the soft thud on wooden window boxes, the sharp ping on metal gutters, the gentle splash in puddles that have formed in the uneven cobblestones. The street is lined with small shops that cater to the everyday needs of the neighborhood. A greengrocer, a milliner, a small lending library, a shop that sells newspapers and tobacco. Each shop window tells its own story through the rain-distorted glass. Vegetables take on mysterious shapes, hats become exotic creatures, and books seem to float in aquatic displays that make you think of underwater libraries in fantastical tales. As you emerge from Copper Lane onto the broader expanse of Victoria Street, the rain opens up again, falling freely from the gray sky above. Here, the sounds are grander, more spacious. You can hear the rain falling on the wide pavement, drumming on the awnings of shops, and creating small rivers in the gutters that carry the day's accumulated dust toward the storm drains. A hansom cab passes you, its wheels creating a gentle rolling sound on the wet pavement. The horse's hooves make a muffled clapping noise, softened by the rain, and you can hear the soft jingle of the harness fittings and the occasional gentle word from the driver to his horse. The cab disappears into the rainy night, its lamp creating a moving circle of light that gradually fades into the distance. You find yourself approaching the Thames, and as you do, the rain takes on the additional company of river sounds. The gentle lapping of water against the embankment mingles with the rain's percussion, and you can hear the distant sound of a steamboat's engine echoing across the water. The rain on the river's surface creates millions of tiny circles that expand and intersect in patterns too complex for the eye to follow. Standing on the embankment for a moment, you watch the rain falling into the dark water of the Thames. Each raindrop disappears immediately into the river, but the collective effect creates a gentle hissing sound, like steam escaping from a distant kettle. The gas lamps along the embankment stretch away in both directions, their light reflecting off the wet stonework and creating golden paths on the water's surface. The rain has made the city air clean and fresh, washing away the accumulated dust and smoke of the day. You breathe deeply, tasting the moisture and feeling the coolness on your face. The rain has a way of making even the busiest parts of London feel peaceful and contemplative, as if the entire city has slowed down to match the gentle rhythm of the falling water. Your homeward route takes you away from the river and back into the residential areas where your evening began. The rain continues its gentle fall, and you notice how it has brought out the best in everything it touches. The brass fittings on doors and windows gleam like gold. The painted signs outside shops look fresh and new, and every surface reflects light in ways that transform the ordinary into something magical. As you walk through the familiar streets, you begin to recognize the individual character of each rain sound. The way it falls on the slate roof of the corner house creates a different rhythm from the way it drums on the tile roof of the baker's shop. The rain running in the gutters has its own voice, distinct from the rain falling on pavement or the gentle splash it makes in the puddles that have formed in the lower-lying areas. Passing the small park where you lit one of your lamps earlier in the evening, you can see how the rain has enhanced the natural beauty of the space. The grass looks greener and fresher. The flower beds seem to glow with renewed life, and the trees drip water in steady, peaceful rhythms that add to the park's sense of tranquility. The lamp you lit continues to burn steadily, its light creating a welcoming beacon in the gentle rain. The final stretch of your journey home takes you through streets that have become as familiar as old friends during your time as a lamplighter's apprentice. Each corner, each lamp post, each shop front has its own character, and the rain has enhanced rather than hidden these familiar details. Water streams down the familiar facades in patterns you are learning to recognize, and the sounds of rain on familiar surfaces have become part of the evening's comfort. As you approach your lodgings, a modest boarding house in a quiet street near the center of your lamplighting district, you feel the deep satisfaction that comes from work well done, and a peaceful evening spent in harmony with the city and the weather. The rain continues to fall gently, and you know that it will likely continue through the night, washing the streets clean and preparing them for tomorrow's activities. The boarding house where you live shows warm light in several windows, and you can see the outline of Mrs. Morrison, your landlady, moving about in the kitchen as she prepares the evening meal for her tenants. The rain on the boarding house windows creates moving patterns of light and shadow that make even this simple domestic scene seem touched with magic. You pause at the front door, taking one last look back at the lamplit street stretching away into the rainy darkness. Every lamp you lit this evening continues to burn steadily, their collective light creating a golden pathway through the rain. The sound of water falling on cobblestones continues its gentle percussion, and you can hear the peaceful night sounds of a city settling into rest. The distant rumble of late carriages, the soft closing of doors, the gentle murmur of final conversations. Inside the boarding house, you can hear the comfortable sounds of evening domestic life, the gentle clatter of dishes being prepared for the evening meal, the soft murmur of conversation from the parlor, the peaceful crackling of coal fires in the hearths. These sounds blend with the continuing rain outside to create a perfect symphony of comfort and security. The gas lamps burn steadily through the night, their warm light a promise that even in the darkest, rainiest hours, there is always illumination to be found. The rain continues its gentle fall, washing the city clean and preparing it for whatever tomorrow might bring. And as you finally step inside, away from the rain but still able to hear its peaceful presence on the windows and roof above, you carry with you the deep satisfaction of having played your part in keeping London's lights burning bright against the gentle darkness of the rainy night. Sleep well. Good night.